Hello and welcome to my mess. I mean, my workshop. I'm the Jank Mechanologist and I haven't recorded in a while. I've been a little busy. Interesting thing, the One Piece card game has 13 starter decks out. Has not changed this piece of paper yet. It is still the same thing. But we're not here to talk about that. Or are we? Actually, we are here to talk about that. Not One Piece specifically, but about trading card games. And all kinds of trading card games, and why, despite Flesh and Blood being easily one of the best card games, that it's okay to look at other games. Play intro, if I have one. So, a while ago, the One Piece Starter Deck 13, the Three Brothers, came out, and I've not kept it a secret. I actually do enjoy One Piece, mostly the property itself. I couldn't think of the word, but the property itself. But I also enjoy the card game a bit, though I haven't played it in a long time. It sort of reminds me of Fab in the way you have to use cards from your hand to block, except that it's more like Dromai v Dromai, where you're summoning other allies to help you out versus you playing attack actions. Though similar to Flesh and Blood, or sort of, your captain is like a weapon who can attack too. I got three of these because I also have three of the three captains ones, and I'm going to take two of them with me on a trip I'm going on. So I wanted the third one to bring with me. Hard to get, unlike my favorite card game, Flesh and Blood. One Piece is a little harder to get your hands on. If you don't know a good place to get it, it's hard to get. But we're not here to focus entirely on that. We're here to talk about card games in general and why, despite being a Flesh and Blood fan and maybe a Flesh and Blood fanatic, it's okay to look at other card games. Believe it or not, a lot of Flesh and Blood players play other games, whether it be Dice Masters, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Grand Archive, Lorcana, etc. And you've probably seen some of that in other bigger creators talking about the other games they've played. But at the same time, you'll see a lot of crazy. I don't think there's anything too crazier. Also see a lot of posts or people saying stuff like how Flesh and Blood is their main game. There's no game that compares. And maybe you start to feel like you can't enjoy other games. Well, that's not 100% true. The question is, can you enjoy other games while Flesh and Blood is your main game? Well, the short answer is yes, but the long answer, it really depends. Flesh and Blood is a game sort of unlike others. Even though I did compare it to One Piece earlier, it's not One Piece. It's not Magic. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! And while you can say that for a lot of games, there are a lot of games out there which are Magic butt. And this also applies to One Piece. You still have your mana system, your Dawn system, or you have your combos in Yu-Gi-Oh! In other games as well. I've been seeing some shorts talking about a Nami deck that you win by decking out, I think is how it works. I'm not too familiar with it. Still cool videos to watch. If I remember or find where that was, I'll post about below who does those. And the thing is, a lot of people, not a lot, but some influencers out there will say other games just can't compare. I don't agree 100%. While I do think Flesh and Blood is a great game, which is why I am working on a meme deck, it's not necessarily the best game of all time. It has its mistakes. All games do. And really, it's not how good of a game is that tells you how good it is. It's the mistakes they make that tells you more. Even though I love Flesh and Blood, I still enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, I would say if it wasn't for One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh would be my second game. but not the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel, to be more specific. I have every set of Speed Duel ever since they released Battle City. I forget what it's called. And I enjoy it. It's a slower format, and it reminds you of the old days. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing Flesh and Blood for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm going to keep on the side, though. Maybe you enjoy Grand Archive, or maybe you enjoy Digimon TCG. I know Digimon is still a game that people enjoy. Battle Spirits Saga, believe it or not, people enjoy that game. Believe it or not, Flesh and Blood might not even be your main game. I have friends who enjoy other games way more than Flesh and Blood, but every time they play Flesh and Blood, they talk about how much they enjoy it. It doesn't turn them away from Magic, though. It's always Magic. But they still enjoy the game enough to play it when I suggest it. And I think that's a pretty good place to be. If we were to compare all the card games out there for the top 5, I believe Flesh and Blood would be number 5. However, the gap between One Piece and Flesh and Blood, so I'm going to say One Piece is number 4. Sorry, Digimon fans. I'm going to say the gap between One Piece and Flesh and Blood is a little further than most Flesh and Blood fans would tell you. And it's not Flesh and Blood's fault at all. In fact, I think the way Flesh and Blood's doing it is pretty smart. They are slowly rolling their way up towards being a big game versus some other card games, sorry One Piece, who had a huge start and are riding a high. But as we know, the 2-year curse could happen at any time, and this could be a game in the past. It happened once, it could happen again. But if Digimon's anything to go off of, it might stick around. Who knows? One last thing. So I'm just kind of doing this to record and upload something. I don't foresee many views on this video unless I clickbait the title, which I don't like doing. One thing I want to talk about for Flesh and Blood specifically is, where do you get your cards from? As you may or may not know, my very first video, besides some box openings, was a list of places you can find Flesh and Blood cards. Sadly, some of the places on that list don't exist anymore. Wraithwires doesn't exist anymore. And I may have to move some of them up and down if I ever redo that list. I have been waiting for almost a month for a rugged roller from TCG Player. I can't remember the shop I got it from. I just kind of put it in the cart, optimized, etc. I haven't gotten it yet. I ordered it from Fab TCG Cards beginning of last week. I got it yesterday. Yesterday being April 22, for anyone wondering. Be smart where you shop your cards at. Like, TCG Player is fine for bulk, but if you need your cards in a hurry, shop. Well, not really local because it's online. Shop the small Fab shops out there. Fab TCG Cards, Fab Foundry, MinMax Games. They'll get to your cards to you. I've heard the Haven's really good. They don't offer free shipping, but they're good. Get your cards from them first if you can. And if they don't have it, which is always a possibility, then TCG Player is always there for you. Just keep in mind, you might not get your card in time. Luckily, I got my rugged roller. I'm ready to meme my way to victory or loss come this next weekend. Which there will be There will be a video on that deck come sometime in May. Maybe before May if I get it edited fast enough. Well, we'll go over KO, Berserker Runt, how fun or distraught it was to roll dice, and, well, why you should or shouldn't play him. He has his fans, and until LSS gives us a gambling hero who's not a brute, he'll have to do. Anyways, I'm gonna work on cleaning this mess. This has been a kind of a maybe a one-off talking kind of thing. We'll see how it looks when I look over it in the editing, and maybe I'll do more of this. I do have a lot of thoughts I want to talk about, not just should you play other card games, but other stuff like double-sided cards and the reprinting of certain heroes. Nothing too meta relevant, but definitely something the casual player thinks about. I've been the Jank Mechanologist. Have a good day. I'm gonna go work on something else. By the way, turns out I was wrong. 13 decks, and they did change one thing. They actually put art in the playmat. Well, paper mat. Pretty cool. Wait, did I check the microphone? Okay. Hello and welcome to my test. Test. One Piece card game or Flesh and Blood. Well, Flesh and Blood obviously, but we're not here to talk about that because I am saying how well I can speak after not recording in a while.